So, unless you've been living under a rock lately, there's a little bit of uncertainty in the world we see today. Luckily for us, our next presentation will be exploring the social, emotional learning patterns that we have inherently and use those as a compass to navigate said uncertainties. And Dawn Alderman will be hosting this conversation, and I cannot wait to hear what's on the leading edge of this topic.
Greetings, I'm Dawn Edelman, Chief Education Officer of the Shift Network. It's my pleasure to serve as the host of the Education Impact Stage at the Shift Music Festival and Visionary Summit. Prior to coming to Shift, I served first as a humanities professor, then as an education entrepreneur in K-12, starting with U.S. charter schools and scaling over 18 years to international schools, both online and brick and mortar on 3 continents. Throughout my career in education reform and in personal and professional development, I've held an abiding love of the history of luminaries in world culture, the change agents through time and across continents. It's my honor and privilege today to be hosting 3 education visionaries and their work in social and emotional learning. We'll have an opportunity to hear their stories, to learn about their work, and to glean some best practices and resources we can use on our own. It's my honor to introduce first Meena Srinivasan. Meena is a national board certified teacher, a South Asian American entrepreneur with deep expertise in the fields of social and emotional learning, also known as SEL, and mindfulness in education. Meena is the founding executive director of Transformative Educational Leadership, a racially and culturally diverse, compassion-centered, innovative program for educational leaders who are called to integrate mindfulness-based social, emotional, academic, and ethical learning into schools and school systems. Welcome, Meena. Would you please share an overview and tell us about your work that you do?
Sure. Thank you so much, Dawn. Well, first of all, it is wonderful to be here. And I really want to begin from a place of gratitude because there are so many other things you could be watching and listening to right now, yet you chose to be here and listen to this conversation. And I really believe with my whole heart that prioritizing our well-being through really centering social and emotional learning and mindfulness in education is so important now, particularly as we continue to grapple with the unfolding of COVID-19's impact on our mental health in schools. Schools have increasingly prioritized social and emotional learning and mindfulness to really support the well-being of their staff and students. And while this focus on well-being is critical, for me, I really feel that it's imperative that schools ultimately position social and emotional learning and mindfulness in service of the shift in collective consciousness that's so needed now. A shift where we truly care for each other and our planet and engage in what Joanna Macy calls active hope. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I ended up in the role I'm in now, leading this really amazing organization, Transformative Educational Leadership. So I am American. My parents immigrated to the United States in the late 1960s from India. And often, being a child of immigrants, there is a lot of emphasis on traditional notions of success. My dad came here with like $200. So really prioritizing education. And I had the opportunity to study at elite institutions. But ultimately, I decided after I graduated from college to take a job teaching at an international school in Brazil. And it was really just my year to take off before I started my career in New York, actually working at the ABC network. And that year in Brazil just totally changed my life. I fell in love with teaching. I was introduced to the work of Parker Palmer, and really, found my calling, and really had this sense of teaching as a sacred task. And in Brazil, there's not a lot of people of Indian origin. And so folks would meet me and they say, "You're Indian, teach me meditation, teach me yoga." And I did grow up exposed to the practice, but, I also grew up in New Jersey and played soccer, and so interestingly enough, it was in Brazil that this whole world really deepened for me around my interior life. Especially when you have been on a certain track to succeed, right? And our traditional notions of what success are. Not a lot of attention, at least when I was growing up, in the 80s and the 90s, was placed on cultivating our inner life, right? Our inner life. And now coming full circle with my work, the tagline for my organization is cultivating our interpersonal development in service of outer systemic transformation. So I had this year in Brazil that was life-changing, and I went back to the United States, and I was working in New York City at the ABC network. And literally every day I'd be going to work, and it just didn't feel like it fit. There was this drive in me to make lesson plans, and I just really missed teaching. So after a year, I actually left. And growing up, I thought I wanted to be a journalist or a foreign news producer. So it was a really big shift for me to make this transition that really led me on this path of being a lifelong educator. And so after teaching in the States for a while, and I was simultaneously nurturing my spiritual life, my interior life. I went to graduate school at UC Berkeley, and while I was in the School of Education, I also studied Sanskrit so I could better understand some of my own ancestral texts and traditions. And in my mid-20s, I moved to India. And of course, my parents were like, "We left India, in the late 60s. What are you doing moving there?" But I just literally woke up one night and had this unexplainable calling that I had to move to India. And so I taught at the American Embassy School there for 5 years in New Delhi. And I also worked with, some of you may have heard of Thich Nhat Hanh, who's nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I worked with his India-based nonprofit, and actually got to meet Thich Nhat Hanh when he came to India. And one of his big focus areas, and this is before mindfulness and education was a thing, we're talking early 2000s, was to promote mindfulness in schools. And so we led some of the first global retreats on mindfulness and education with 500 plus educators, and found this work so meaningful. And as these practices transformed my life, I thought, well, how could I not share this with my students? And it's amazing now that I years later, more than a decade, 15 years later, that I've, built a career in this space of social and emotional learning and mindfulness. And my mom was very sick. She actually is going into year 9 of having a double lung transplant, which is amazing. And talk about recognizing the power of one's breath. Right. What a great teaching for me. And I came back to the States, and I actually taught at the school where Mindful Schools had founded. And while I was in India, I was connecting with a lot of the leaders in an emerging field of mindfulness and education and an established field of social and emotional learning. Social emotional learning has been around a lot longer than the field of mindfulness and education. But increasingly, evidence-based social emotional learning programs are incorporating mindfulness-based techniques because Sometimes we think of SEL as like an outside in approach and mindfulness as an inside out approach. So sometimes in SEL, earlier SEL programs, you'd be talking about emotions without actually understanding and feeling the emotions in your body. So the work of mindfulness is really powerful in being able to enhance the social and emotional learning programs that are out there. And after teaching for a few years, one of my mentors, Linda Lantieri, who founded the Collaborative for Academic Social Emotional Learning, who I met when I was still living in India. And she's really been my, I call her my work mom or my social emotional learning, my SEL fairy godmother. And she said, I think it's time for you to transition out of the classroom. So I got my admin credential and I joined a very innovative team in the Oakland Unified School District. And Oakland was one of 8 original districts working in partnership with the Collaborative for Academic Social and Emotional Learning, or CASEL. And CASEL is really our nation's leading organization when it comes to research, policy, and practice for advancing SEL. And Oakland was one of these original 8 districts, called part of something called the Collaborating Districts Initiative. And it was really based on a research question. We know we can implement social and emotional learning at the school level, but can it be done in a large, complex urban school system like in Oakland or Atlanta, some of the other, districts, Anchorage, Sacramento, Austin. And so I was in this role, really working in partnership with CASEL, implementing social and emotional learning systemically. And most of the resources now used to support implementation came out of the Collaborating Districts Initiative. So it was this exciting experience for me. And I was able to write 2 books during this time, one focusing on bringing mindfulness into the classroom. And that was part of the first wave of mindfulness in education books that came out in 2014. So it was, a little before just this notion now that mindfulness has become more of a part of many schools. And then I wrote another book called Social and Emotional Learning, SEL Everyday, Integrating Social and Emotional Learning with Instruction in Secondary Classrooms. And this really came out of my experiences in Oakland, because there are so many resources out there for elementary, but there was really a dearth of resources for secondary. And my background has been in middle and high school. And so the time in Oakland was great training ground. But I also saw a gap. I saw a gap where there was a lot of curriculum out there for folks, but there wasn't support for leaders. And what I saw was that the schools that were able to implement social and emotional learning effectively had leaders that really embodied these skills and competencies. And so in 2018, I co-founded Transformative Educational Leadership with my mentor, Linda Lantieri, and another close colleague of mine. I've been collaborating with Daniel Reckstoffen. And we are in our 4th year. And we just graduated our 2nd cohort. And we really work at the intersection of leadership, equity, social and emotional learning, and mindfulness. And these fields have traditionally been silent. So we really focus on integrating, we call them our threads of leadership, SEL, equity, mindfulness, in service of systems transformation. Our first cohort was 40% leaders of color. Our last cohort is 60% leaders of color. And I want to just talk about, two additional things that are really important for me. I talked about SEL and mindfulness really being in service of a shift in consciousness. And social emotional learning, it traditionally refers to the essential skills and competencies we all need for life success. So self-awareness, goal setting, managing strong emotions, cultivating empathy, social awareness, relationship skills, problem solving, making healthy decisions. And for years, SEL programming was thought to be race and culture neutral. But we know that nothing is really race or culture neutral. And so recently, over the past few years, the field of SEL has been looking more deeply at their programs, and really reflecting on how, a lot of schooling, actually all of schooling in the United States, was designed to benefit originally the values and culture of those in power, right? And it's the dominant culture that has really shaped our educational structures and policies around how children are expected to behave, how they should communicate, and how they should interact. And so when the field began to look more deeply, and I, really saw this in Oakland, how the schools with predominantly Black and Brown children, SEL was being looked at as behavior management, whereas our schools in the hills with more students from the dominant culture, it was being looked at as 21st century skills. So we really need to hold an equity lens to the SEL work. And more recently, there's been scholarship on something called transformative SEL. And transformative SEL is a process by which young people and adults, they develop these strong, respectful, lasting relationships that facilitate co-learning so they can critically examine root causes of inequity and develop collaborative solutions that lead to personal, community, and societal well-being. And so key elements of transformative SEL really focus on SEL implementation in service of equity, in service of creating equitable school environments. And more recently, they have come out with equity focal constructs for these 5 core competencies that have been around for, probably, more than 25 years now from CASEL. And so I just want to lift up the importance of holding that equity lens. If we're really going to have this consciousness shift, then we need to do the inner work that will lead to that shift in consciousness and really look at our systems and structures that are perpetuating inequity in our schools. I also want to talk a little bit about what transformative mindfulness is, which is a term that my organization, Transformative Educational Leadership, has come up with. And, mindfulness is a powerful way we can cultivate well-being. And I am a huge fan of David Forbes' work, and he says that personal mindfulness is step 1, but mindful social action is step 2. Ultimately, they are inseparable. And I'm really coming from, my first exposure to mindfulness is rooted in the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, which are really about mindfulness being engaged. He is a peace activist at the end of the day. And so we define transformative mindfulness as both a practice and a way of being with which we compassionately attend to the unfolding reality of the present moment within and without. And when we add transformative to this definition, we courageously open our intention to include the systems we are nested within, such as educational, social, ecological, and economic. And with transformative mindfulness, we strive to expand our awareness of something called interbeing, which is a term Thich Nhat Hanh coined. And interbeing essentially means that everything interdependently coexists, and we strive to expand our awareness of interbeing to really bear witness to suffering in its many forms and create a more compassionate and just world through something that Sean Ginwright calls healing-centered engagement. And so I want to just talk a little more about interbeing before I bring my comments to a close, because for me, the root cause of inequity, the root cause of why we're in this situation we're in, I mean, the UN just came out with the climate report yesterday, right? The root cause of why we're in the situation we're in with our planetary crisis and with how we treat certain human beings as they're disposable and as the earth is disposable is a lack of interbeing consciousness. And so I want to just share, Thich Nhat Hanh in a beautiful illustration of interbeing. He writes that if you're a poet, you will see clearly that there is a cloud floating in the sheet of paper. Without the cloud, there will be no rain. Without the rain, there will be no trees. And without the trees, we cannot make paper. The cloud is essential for the paper to exist. The cloud isn't there, the sheet of paper cannot be there either. And he goes on to say that if you look deeply enough, you can see the logger who cut down the trees and the logger's ancestors as well in that sheet of paper. So an interbeing consciousness is a shift from a transactional way of being into a world where we recognize we are a product of infinite causes and conditions, and all of our actions have impact on others and the earth. I mean, the nonviolence that Gandhi and Dr. King practiced is grounded in interbeing. And for me, interbeing is absent from the modern implementation of social and emotional and learning and mindfulness in the West. And we absolutely need to bring this interbeing consciousness back into how we are sharing about mindfulness and social emotional learning in schools if we're actually going to have a consciousness shift. So I will just close my opening comments there and look forward to hearing what Scarlett and Daniel have to share.
Thank you, Mina. It's now my honor to introduce to you Scarlett Lewis and to ask her to share some words of overview about the incredible work that she is doing in the world. Scarlett founded the nonprofit Jessie Lewis Choose Love movement after her son was murdered during the Sandy Hook Elementary School tragedy in December 2012. After his death, Scarlett created the movement and became an advocate for social and emotional learning and character development that teaches children how to manage their emotions, feel connected, and have healthy relationships. Choose Love is used in over 10,000 schools in the United States, and it's been accessed in all 50 states and 110 countries around the world, reaching more than 2 million children. Welcome, Scarlett.
Thank you so much, Dawn. It's really an honor to be here with all of you. Mina, I loved what you had to say, and especially the term active hope. I think that's what we all need right now. And I think that that's what our main mission is here with what we're doing today. My journey started 8 years ago when my 6-year-old son was murdered at Sandy Hook Elementary School in his first grade classroom alongside 19 of his classmates and 6 educators in one of the worst mass murders in US history. After that time, I knew that that what had happened was preventable. And I knew that I had to dedicate my life to making sure that other parents didn't have the same situation. So when I went home after learning that my son had been murdered, I found a message that he had written on our kitchen chalkboard. He had written 3 words: nurturing, healing, love. And I knew immediately that if Adam Lanza, who was, by the way, the former student of Sandy Hook Elementary School, whose mother had taught at this school, who then went back to perpetrate the crime in the same classrooms that he had been in, I knew that if he had been able, if he had the skills and tools to be able to give and receive nurturing, healing love, that the tragedy would never have happened. It was so simple, yet of course, simple isn't always easy. And so I knew that it would be my mission to get those words into our classrooms. And so we did some research on the words and found that they were in the definition of compassion across all cultures. I learned about social and emotional learning, went back to my school, and the Sandy Hook Elementary School asked if they had this program. They said they did have a social emotional learning program, but it was so expensive that they couldn't afford to train the teachers. So I went to the drawing board and created a program that is comprehensive. It's actually lifespan, and it's absolutely no cost. It includes homes and communities. And, you know, I looked at social and emotional learning, those 5 core components that Mina was talking about, with decades of research, so powerful and long-lasting research, by the way. They followed kids for 20 years, but also realized that SEL was actually in less than 10% of US schools, despite what we know about it. and realized, as Mina said, that you not only need social and emotional learning, those 5 core components as per the Collaborative for Academic Social Emotional Learning, but you also need mindfulness, which is what Mina was saying. And you also, there's so many other things that are needed in our education, including positive psychology, which has been around for 100 years, focusing on what's right with us instead of following our negative bias and focusing on what's wrong with us, which is what we do without awareness. Growth mindset, so much research behind growth mindset. Neuroscience, we know so much more within the last 20 years about how our brain works and how powerful that knowledge is within our own lives to return our locus of control, our center of control back inside of us. So instead of being victims, we are hopeful and we feel like we have some control. We're personally responsible for where we are, where we're going. All of these things, including being trauma informed. There's so much trauma in our world now, especially within our kids. 25 years ago, there was 1 in 5 kids being impacted by trauma. And going into COVID, it was between 35 and 50%. Now experts are saying between 90 and 100%. So programming has to be trauma informed. So we created a program that encompassed all of that. And we start with the self, because we have to love and accept ourselves before we can do that with other people. And then we've extended it throughout the homes and communities and businesses. Just so vitally important. It's my life's work, and I just feel blessed to be here with all of you and sharing my story. And just to top that off, I mean, our kids have to be safe. And if they don't feel safe and they aren't physically safe, then nothing else matters. And so, you know, despite all of the efforts that we have done to keep our kids safe, Sandy Hook Elementary School alone had all the technology available at that time. In fact, they just done an active shooter drill 2 weeks before. And that is, you know, on the attack end of the pathway to violence, if you've ever seen it. But what we know now, the number one way to have a safe school is to address the culture of the school and to create a loving, compassionate, connected culture. That's the number one way to have a safe school. So on so many levels, social and emotional learning is essential. Essential skills that we use throughout our lives as parents, in the workplace, in our communities. And really, we have to take responsibility for where we are and the world that we live in. Right now, we're all out of our comfort zone. For the first time, really, in my lifetime, we've all been all together kicked out of our comfort zone, but it means that we're in our growth zone, and a growth zone is a great thing because we get to create the world that we want to live in.
Beautiful. Thank you, Scarlett. And it's now my pleasure to introduce to you Daniel Sunshine. Daniel is a global innovator of human potential and the founder and CEO of Responsive Intelligence. His work integrates mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and positive psychology, and it has impacted a multitude of organizations in the healthcare, consulting, big tech, and travel sectors. He's also a co-creator of the National Mindfulness Certification Training. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Dawn. And Scarlett and Mina, it's such an honor to be on this panel with you as well. And yeah, well, this is such an amazing conversation. And so, you know, when I start my story, it really begins with my background in innovation. So I pretty much, you know, been an innovator throughout my professional life. I've worked for companies like National Geographic and The Atlantic and AARP, and just really looking at large sets of information, finding solutions or maybe risks in there and finding ways to move forward through that information. And what happened was I started to face a dark night of the soul. So I started to have to go really inward, and I went through some very serious health challenges, really life-threatening health challenges. And in the face of that, I'd already been practicing mindfulness from a young age, different forms of mindfulness, but it wasn't something that really had rooted in me yet. And during that process, my innovation focus started to look at ways that I was able to lead out of suffering. And that really began my journey that now has become a really deep path in mindfulness. Also, social emotional learning. A lot of the work I've done has been in the education sector as well. Of course, that's what we're talking about here. But basically, in the midst of my darkest night, where my mind was really torturing me, it was really telling me, that I was going to die, because I could at the time, but it was something that wasn't good to be constantly reminding myself when I woke up. Throughout the day, it was just basically torture, and so I, often in these life-changing circumstances, I heard a lot of that in the shares so far. Serendipity, plays a role in terms of what we find on this pathway to awakening, to evolving. And I went to the library. I think I was looking for a cookbook, and in its place was an Eckhart Tolle DVD. I'd already known about Eckhart Tolle, but again, it hadn't really soaked in to the degree needed. And he basically kind of hit me in that moment about the use of mindfulness to allow us to not be attached to our thought forms to the degree to where we can see them more as impulses of our brain. They're not even actually reality. They're more impressions of reality, or analysis of reality. And this idea that I was gonna die at the time wasn't real, that there's actually, that's the low likelihood. And I don't need to keep telling myself that. So in the face of that, I watched that probably 3 times a day, and that was kind of an anchor to start to find myself out of this darkness. And as I was coming out of the darkness, my whole life was shifting now out of really focusing on kind of this life of being an innovator to really an innovator of pathways out of, at first, human suffering, and then really how do we become the best people we can be. But I think the pathways out of human suffering, this mindfulness, this learning emotional awareness, this learning empowered choices. How do we make choices like positive psychology, choices that are aligned with the best people that we want to become, not only towards ourselves and others, was the real dedicated path that I found my calling to be. And so I started finding myself really in the midst of, let's say, gymnasiums full of students, where we were this time I think there were 4th graders, but we were mostly focusing. When I say we, it was my brother and I actually started to bring a lot of mindfulness to schools. And we'd find ourselves in this gymnasium full of students at Dallas Independent School District, where we would be teaching them all mindfulness, and where you could hear a pin drop and the teachers would just be blown away. And again, it would just be reminding me and really touching my heart to the degree where I knew this is what I wanted to do in my life. I want to help others learn pathways out of suffering. And those classes, we try to make them both entertaining as well as informative. And we'd say stuff like, who here? Firstly, we would learn a lot of different celebrities that have been practicing mindfulness, and we would, communicate to them people that they might look up to that were already practicing mindfulness. And this is how, let's say, Beyonce per se, finds her calm when she's in front of a big stadium of people, or things of that nature. And then we could ask, who here has been told to calm down? And I can ask that to the audience here. Who here has been told to calm down? I assume everyone out there has been told to calm down. Well, who here has been taught how to calm down? And so, when you think of that question now, in the face, especially in a post-COVID world, it's amazing that and actually I see a massive uptick. I would imagine that Scarlett and Mina have been seeing massive upticks in interest and demand for what we're all doing, and it seems just so normal for this uptick to be here. But it was amazing even then, when stress was the biggest cause of, you name the illness, and especially with students that were already having food insecurity and all kinds of massive challenges in the home, and coming to school from a place of just extreme extreme lack and extreme already coming from a place of of not really having the resources necessary to bring, a ready to learn mind. And so that basically was the beginning of an initiative that now has led to, working with many different schools, many different school districts, integrating social emotional learning. Actually, Mina, I'm really grateful to share, as a wonderful collaborator of our initiative. And let's see, and so out of that also, there's something called responsive intelligence that's emerged. And responsive intelligence, I think really what I love to just ask is, most people will say, like, what do you think about, needing to learn to respond instead of react? And usually people are like, yeah, that's so important. And I think, that from this perspective of responsive intelligence, that really summarizes an essential essence of what we're talking about here. It's that moment of input that might be challenging, or that moment where if we're not regulated, where we just come from a place of unconsciousness, that can lead to so many negative consequences. And so responsive intelligence is really a combination. There's a couple, the equation is presence plus emotional awareness plus empowered choice, basically. And within that, we have presence, emotional intelligence, and positive psychology. And really, that's a lot of the formula that goes into these mindfulness practices, these social emotional learning practices. And it's really this, this ability, well, actually, I'll say this too, like, I've heard a theme through all of our shares as well, which is how important it is that it starts with us. And really this act of, I think, really bringing this to schools, and really to bring it to any environment, is an act of really starting with the adults. It's starting with the provider. It's learning myself how to, I think, first and foremost, pause. And then from there, really listen to my emotions, hear how I feel, listen to my desires, listen to, my inner being. I think that's how we get to know ourselves. That's really how we get to love ourselves. And this foundation of self-love, of self-connection, is where everything else comes from. And I think that alone is such a gateway into seeing the humanity in everything else around us. And that, in a sense, I think, is really the essence of the evolutionary nature of responsive intelligence. When we start with ourselves, with this pausing, with this presence, learning how to, that entails a lot of coming out of the monkey mind, is what it's often called, that just racing mind, the mind that wants to talk about the future, the past, autopilot, the act of being in our world, but not actually being present, but yet not conscious in our experience. And often in a room, I'll ask, who here is driven from point A to point B without knowing how they got to point B? Does anyone want to raise their hand? Thank you. Yes. And in a room of 100 people, you'll have 97 people raise their hand, and I'll have everybody look around. And it's just profound. It's amazing. And so what is it like to go through our life where we're doing that with I'll jump to probably one of the most important things, our children. What is it like to go through our life where, and we know what it's like. We often talk about where they're growing up so quickly. I think going on vacation is a very good example of really, by the end of the vacation, feeling like we need another vacation, or kind of almost forgetting what we did on the vacation, by the time we're done with it. So responsive intelligence, really, it's, this act of responding instead of reacting, but there's so much in it. And we really look at it as a new operating system for this post-COVID world that we live in, where everything is really melting down around us. And, there's no more important for that than in the educational system. And just a couple more ideas before I come back to you, Dawn. I think Mina always brings in equity and inclusion and non-bias. And yes, all these tools in responsive intelligence also, lead to this ability to really call on the wholeness of our experience and our brain, so that we're not so biased and so unconscious when it relates to these concepts of equity and inclusion, or we can question our judgment. We can look at it and say, actually, that's not true, and breathe and allow someone to be in front of us as they are, and learn the importance of understanding who they are as an individual. And so I wanted to share that as well. And just say I'm just so happy to be here, and really an honor to have been able to share about responsive intelligence with you, Mina and Scarlett. And thank you, Dawn. Thank you very much.
Thank you all three, Mina, Scarlett, and Daniel, for all that you've shared. It is really such vital work that you're doing in the world. You're all helping students to navigate uncertainty, where because of their youth, they don't have a frame of reference for recovery after loss, or an understanding that this too shall pass. We all know it's a very challenging time in the collective for children of all ages whose lives have been completely disrupted, from their rites of passage that mark their journey, to the expectations they've held about school, friends, activities, all the things they look forward to. But there's always a reframe. Just as we're all experiencing a pain point globally simultaneously, one of the great things about this time is that we can find each other. We can gather with our kindred spirits and navigate this unfolding together. So what I'd like to ask you next is, what are some of the tangible tools? And I love what you said, Scarlett, that it's simple, but it's not easy. What are some of the simple things that we can hold fast to during this time, especially as the Delta variant cases surge and as parents and teachers reckon with the atrophy in learning that's taken place, along with depression and anxiety in their children? What are some of the strategies you would like to convey to parents, teachers, grandparents, and champions of children, and even to some students who might be joining us?
Yeah, well, I appreciate the question. And I wanted to just lift up two things. The first, that we all spoke about the importance of adult capacity building and the adult SEL. Scarlett, I vividly remember the day of Sandy Hook. I was teaching 6th grade. And as soon as we got the news, had my students in a circle, and we all sent, because we were practicing mindfulness, compassion to those that were immediately impacted. And then as our class had a whole, we would do circle time, a whole conversation around what our role was in ensuring that, what role could we play in ensuring that this does not happen again. And these were 10 and 11-year-olds. And so I just wanted to name that. And I also wanted to just lift up just how beautifully you've modeled resilience and how beautifully you model active hope. Because active hope, hope isn't something we have. Joanna Macy talks about how it's something we engage in. And so you've really done a beautiful job with that. And starting Choose Love, and just the tremendous influence your program has been able to have. But also you mentioned that, the school had an SEL program, but they didn't have the money to invest in the teachers, didn't have the money to invest in the professional learning. So I have 5 self-care strategies that I want to offer that, and if you go to my website, minasrinivasan.com, they're available there as well. And these really came out, they were when COVID first began to unfold, my 5 self-care strategies for myself. And I'll briefly go through them, but the article goes into more depth because if we're not okay, right? If we don't care for ourselves, there's no way we can care for young people as educators or as parents. So we absolutely have to prioritize our well-being. So here are the 5. The first is resource yourself first. So simply asking yourself the question, what's one essential thing I have to do daily for my well-being? Just one. We can do it right now. Let's just take a moment. You're listening, pause. What's that one thing? What's that one thing? Is it exercise? Is it praying? Is it drinking a delicious cup of coffee? and really savoring it. What's that one thing? I say one because I got a 3-year-old and I usually can't do more than one during the day, particularly when, he was home with us for 8 months of the last year. And so the first strategy really is this, resource yourself first. And I want to mention there are a variety of ways we can nourish ourselves. And there's an acronym called SMART, which stands for short moments of awareness repeated many times. And so how can we engage in SMART breaks throughout the day? And that's, related to kind of resourcing ourselves. And there's a few that I love doing. One is the 3-breath hug, which I do with my son and my husband. And it sounds a little morbid, but, I say the following to myself with each breath. The first breath, I'm not going to be here forever. Second breath, you're not going to be here forever, particularly my son in this current form, in this adorable, sometimes exhausting 3-year-old body, right? The last breath. So let's cherish this moment that we have. And when you have a conflict or an argument with a spouse and you've been able to cool down a little bit, or you're really practiced in your relationship, we can just come together and take those 3 breaths. Like, why are we stressing out about the grocery list, right? Let's come back to what matters, what's important. And then, in addition to the 3-breath hug, I offer this practice to teachers. It's like the 3 T's: tea time, toilet time, always gets a laugh, and transitional time. So whether you're a coffee drinker, a tea drinker, but just mindfully savoring your beverage, right? And you can even bring that interbeing element into it, right? And really think about, wow, for this coffee to be here, the sun, the soil, right? The workers on the coffee plantation, my partner who made the coffee. So just really adding that other element, because you're drinking a miracle. You're drinking a miracle right there. And the second T, toilet time. So as a teacher, sometimes the only break I got during the workday was going to the bathroom. And it's a time when you're relieving yourself to instantly come back in your body, come back to your breath, right? Glad that everything's working for me here. And as a parent too, right? Especially when our kids are home with us. And then the last T is the transitional time. So we spend, I believe, if we live to be 70, something like 3 years of our lives just waiting, waiting for the Zoom meeting to start, waiting at the stoplight, waiting in line at the grocery store. Imagine if we just use that time as like, it's my time to nourish myself. Let me take a few breaths, right? And so, the 3 T's and the SMART breaks. So that's all part of this first strategy: resource yourself first. The second strategy is practicing the reframe. You talked a lot about the reframe, Dawn, and an easy way for me to have people begin reframing is just shifting from saying I have to I get to. So instead of I have to lesson plan, for any educators watching, it's like I get to be creative. Instead of I have to grade, it's like I get to see where my students are at and how they're doing. Or, as a parent, for me, it's like I have to make dinner instead. Like I get to be creative and make a healthy meal for my family. So however we can just use that simple shift from I have to I get to can be really, really helpful. The third strategy, watering helpful seeds. So one of the most powerful teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh is that we all have helpful and unhelpful seeds inside of us, seeds of emotion. Whatever seeds we water, those are the seeds that grow, right? And so mindfulness enables us to be aware of what seeds we're watering. And so, Daniel, you talked about, the work of Eckhart Tolle. And for me, fundamentally, it's about strengthening the witness, really recognizing we have the capacity to observe what's unfolding in our mind in the moment and be aware of what emotions we're watering. And so when I was in the classroom, my students and I did a whole lesson on watering helpful seeds, and we actually would make a pact to water helpful seeds in each other. So most important, watering the helpful seeds in yourself, but we're watering seeds in others at all times by how we show up, by our tone, by what we say, how we say it, right? The next strategy number 4, is practicing self-compassion. This is a hard time. This is really hard. And even just acknowledging like, this is a hard moment. And, there's a number of self-compassion practices out there. I love the affectionate breathing practice, inspired by the work of Chris Germer and Kristen Neff. And then also just, for me, it's like holding myself with tenderness and just saying like, this is hard. And then talking to myself as my best friend would talk to me. Literally bringing my best friend into my head and talking to myself the way my best friend would talk to me. So that's just, a simple way of practicing self-compassion. And then the last strategy, and I think this is the most important, is touch, savor, and soak in joy. So right now, think about the last joyful experience you've had. So if it's helpful, you can close your eyes. Just bring it to your mind's eye and just replay that. It could be something as simple as watching your child laugh. It could be dancing. But what did that joy feel like in your body and your being? And really bringing it back into your mind's eye. And where did you feel the joy? Was it in your chest? Was it anywhere else in your body? Where did you feel it? And what did joy feel like? And if your eyes are closed, you can open them. And, we are evolutionarily designed to privilege negativity, negative experiences, right? So it's part of how we survive as humans. So we literally have to counter every negative experience with 5 positives. And so, this is based on the research of Gottman and Levinson. And, Rick Hansen teaches us that, our brain is like Teflon for the positive and Velcro for the negative. So we have to deliberately practice soaking in joy. When we're experiencing joy, just really letting it seep through our whole being and our body. And it's a deliberate practice. It's really related to that seed watering practice. So those are my 5 strategies. And if you check out my website, that's one of the resources that are freely available. Curious what strategies are coming up for Scarlett and Daniel to share.
Thanks, Mina. That was awesome. You're right. We have this negative bias. So if you think about how we've been handling the majority of our issues, it's been focusing on the problems. We tend to wait till they come and then we focus on them. And I'm really talking about mental illness in our society. It's at all-time highs. Suicide, all-time highs. Twice as many kids are being hospitalized for attempted suicide and suicidal ideation than in the previous decade, and they're getting younger and younger. Substance abuse is skyrocketing. We had more deaths from overdoses last year than ever before in the history of mankind. In fact, last year, overdoses are up 30%. And I just came back from helping one of my best friends bury her 31-year-old son due to an overdose. So there's a lot of focus on our problems. However, we're not really wired to focus on the cause of those issues. And that's really what we need to do. That's what social and emotional learning does. It focuses on the cause of all those issues. And therefore, it is the solution. It can address the problems, but it also addresses the cause. But it's a different way of thinking. What we're not evolutionarily designed to think like that. So in, choose love is a different message. If you think about a lot of the messaging that's out there, I don't know about you, but we have yard signs in Newtown and they say, hate has no place here. It's a double negative. First word is hate. It's the focus, unfortunately. Choose love is a completely different 180 message. It is a proactive message because the fact of the matter is this: we cannot always choose what happens to us. And Daniel, you touched on that. However, we can take our personal power back in how we choose to respond to what happens to us. And that is the major major message in Choose Love. And we actually have a formula that that schools use throughout the year, and we teach everything else that we mentioned underneath that formula and within that formula. And the formula comes from Jesse's message of nurturing, healing, love. There are 4 character values. The first one is courage, because it takes so much courage to do everything that we've been talking about today, to really take a look at yourself and to come to the present moment, because the present moment isn't always joyous, and to be present in difficulty so that you can thoughtfully respond to what is going on. That takes a lot of courage. And I can't talk about courage without bringing in Jesse's example of courage. My son stood up to the shooter that came into his classroom and saved 9 of his classmates' lives before losing his own. For that act of courage, he's on the short list for the Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor. He was given a commander-in-chief funeral reserved for heads of state and returning war heroes. He was considered a war hero because his first grade classroom was a literal war zone. And I talk about that courage because we all have the capacity for Jesse's courage. Now, that's an extraordinary act of courage. Hopefully, none of us are ever in that situation. None of the listeners are ever in that situation. I'm talking about the everyday acts of courage, the courage to be present so that you can thoughtfully respond, the courage to tell the truth, to do the right thing, to be vulnerable, to be your authentic self, to face your fear rather than resist and avoid or even numb yourself from it. And then nurturing, in Jesse's message, means a loving kindness and gratitude. And gratitude we use as the great mind shifter. So Mina, as you said, we focus on the negative. The majority of our thoughts every day are negative, and over 95% are repetitive. So those same negative thoughts again and again and again. When you're ready to shift out of that negative thinking by coming to the present, realizing what you're thinking about, you can use gratitude, a thought of gratitude. You can only focus on one thought at a time, which is pretty cool. So you can only focus on a lower energy, negative, fearful thought or a grateful thought. And there's always something to be grateful for. It may take courage. You've already worked on your courage. It may take courage to be grateful when things aren't going your way. But that is a great way to shift the focus of your lens to gratitude. That neuroscientifically prepares you, strengthens you to consider forgiveness. And so we've got nurturing, healing in Jesse's message, literally means forgiveness. And forgiveness is such an important character value to teach in our world. It was so important for me. In fact, it was the only way I could take my personal power back and my freedom back from the shooter, who had control over my thoughts that impact how I felt, that then impact how I showed up in my relationships and my behavior. The only way for me to cut that cord that attached me to pain was through forgiveness. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand forgiveness. A lot of people our age, in fact, they told me, what, include forgiveness in schools? That's way too lofty a subject for kids. But the interesting thing is, actually, it's usually kids' favorite subject. It's their favorite character value in the formula for choosing love, because they say it's like a superpower. They say it feels so good to let it go. It's us big kids that don't really understand it. We think that we're giving a gift to the person who hurt us, who either doesn't care, doesn't know, isn't sorry, and they don't deserve it. When in actuality, all of the decades of research show that the gift is something that we give ourselves. We empower ourselves with forgiveness. And by the way, it's the #1 way to have a healthy relationship. Harvard University did a 75-year longitudinal study. In fact, they're still doing it, but they found the secret to happiness. And they said the secret to happiness was healthy relationships. How do you have those? forgiveness. And then love is compassion in action. Love is having the courage to step outside of your own busyness and distraction, even your own pain and suffering, to identify with the need of another and then actively do something to help ease that pain or that need. And that's when science tells us all of, I say, the nurturing, healing love that we give out, we get back. So putting it all together, when you've had the courage to be grateful, even when things aren't going your way, the courage to forgive, even if the person who hurt you isn't sorry, doesn't care, may not even know, or forgive yourself, and the courage to step outside of what's going on in your world and help others, you have chosen love. You have taken your personal power back and you have done something to make the world a better place. And so this all comes from Jesse's example of courage, his message of nurturing, healing love. But this is what our totally free lifespan social and emotional learning character development program is based on, that formula. So that's the gift that I can give today, is that formula that can help you take your personal power back in any situation, circumstance, or interaction by choosing love.
Thank you, Scarlett. So powerful. Daniel, some words to share for strategies and how to navigate these times?
Sure. I think, what we've already heard is so profound and wow. And so I thought I would just share maybe just a brief exercise in mindful self-compassion. So starting, with ourself, and really within that, we find presence. And then within that presence, we'll look at how we feel in the moment. And then from there, we'll just say a little bit of some affirmations that relate to just practicing some self-compassion. So if you just want to sit in a comfortable position and maybe just set aside anything you're doing right now. Just let anything earlier in the day just fade away for a moment. And you can close your eyes if it feels comfortable, or you can keep them partially open. And just begin to focus your awareness on breathing. So just noticing the inhalation and exhalation. You can notice maybe the lungs expanding and contracting. And so from here, just go and ask the question, how do I feel right now? What emotions are present? And just label them. So without as little judgment as possible, you might say, I feel happy, feel anxious, afraid, whatever it is, just label it. And now I invite you, if it feels good for you, you can practice some soothing touch. And this is actually something that I found to be one of the most effective tools that I've seen in the work that I've done. And that would be, you can put one of your hands in the center of your heart area, so the center of your chest. And just notice how that feels. So maybe bringing your awareness away from labeling your emotions to how your hand feels, just holding the center of your chest. Continuing to breathe. And just say to yourself, it's okay to feel this way. It's very normal to feel this way. In fact, it makes me human to feel this way. In fact, I'm more connected to others in the fact that I do feel. And if I'm suffering right now, that is 100% connected to all of humanity. And it's okay to feel this way. So just coming back to the breathing, noticing your breathing. So bring your awareness to what it feels like to breathe. Inhalation, exhalation. You're only as far away from the present moment as your next breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Now slowly you can set your hand down again on your legs or wherever they were, wherever your hand was. And just slowly begin to open your eyes if they were closed. Bring your awareness back to the space, people, the objects around you. And just notice how you feel now and how that may have impacted you. And it's exercises like this, really weaving into our life, our routine, and there's so many of them that both Scarlett and Nina, I'm sure, have throughout all of their programs. There's short form, there's long form. At mindfulnesscertification.com, we have a 30-hour live stream training that actually Nina's a part of. We have amazing teachers there that train people how to bring mindfulness into the world. It's been brought now into prisons, soup kitchens, museums, a wealth of schools. Teachers have taken it, hundreds of teachers have taken it. And all these tools that we're talking about, I think just beginning to learn these tools. I just wove together, some what would be considered kind of advanced, but one of my biggest inspirations is making it highly accessible. So we kind of just distilled in different pieces of things to make it so we could kind of hopefully quickly touch on a place of re-regulation, of finding rootedness to myself. So now I can make choices aligned with me and hopefully more aligned with that of others as well. And so that's what I'd like to offer.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. This has been incredibly rich. Some of my major takeaways, I'm sure we'd all agree that safety is the foundation, the bottom rung of Maslow's hierarchy of needs that must be in place in order for children to be able to learn. We have to be able to calm ourselves and to be grounded to do our work in the world and serve others as parents, educators, in all capacities in which we serve. It begins with that. I also really feel the challenge of the SEL program not being implemented because it required professional development and it was expensive. Part of the game changer at home and at school is to integrate social emotional learning in everything. Arts, literature, history, social studies, culture, people. It's what kids want to talk about. They're fascinated by stories and each other. And the pressure at school to cover material and beat the clock because we have standards we have to hit, it just may be time to take a pause and prioritize connection first. Connection relationally and connection to content. It may just be time to activate prior knowledge so we can build on it, so the new material will be relevant, meaningful, and will stick. It may just be time to connect, connect, connect. Role play. Have fun with the teachable moment. Make it come to life in the living room or the classroom. We get so much more mileage out of authentic learning that actually feels like play than we do out of pressure-filled, fear-driven mandates to finish homework and to hit benchmarks. Schools need to feel safe physically and emotionally for kids to learn and for teachers to fulfill their calling.
Can I just speak to what you just shared? Because
Please do.
I totally agree. And I want to just dispel the false dichotomy between social and emotional learning and academics. Learning is capital IS, social and emotional. SEL is good pedagogy, right? We can't learn if we're not feeling connected, seen, safe, and heard. And I wanted to also lift up 3 research-based promising practices for creating cultures of belonging. And so one is cultural integration. So what you were speaking to, but really integrating the cultural component into our content, right? The other is promoting racial ethnic identity development. And this is not just for people of color, this is for all folks, right? Being aware of our own racial ethnic identity development. And that's also connected with, learning about other cultures, learning about where other folks are coming from, and their histories. And I also want to just mention that, schools are not safe places for a lot of kids. And it's important for us to name that and do what needs to be done to create a healing space for all children. And there's a lot of work that still has to be done around that. And then the last promising practice is community building. There are these 3 signature social and emotional learning practices that we talk about a lot in the SEL world that are so easy to implement. And honestly, I do them as a parent. So the first is like a welcoming inclusion activity. So, research shows when you get students talking at the start of class, they're more likely to stay engaged throughout. And it could be something as simple as like, and I'm sure you have a lot of these in your program, Scarlett, but just how are you feeling today? Let's do an emotional check-in, but just giving space to recognize that we are whole human beings showing up in this space. The next is engaging pedagogy, which really are, creating engaging structures in the classroom for students to make sense of what they're learning, and with adults too, adult learning shows we understand when we talk about what we're learning, when we communicate about it. And the last is an optimistic closing. So that could be as something as simple as, what did I learn today? And what am I looking forward to tomorrow? But there are simple ways we can teach with SEL in mind. It is not this, it's not just that social emotional learning is here and academics are there. And we absolutely have to dispel that dichotomy. And that's why I wrote my book, Integrating Social Emotional Learning with Instruction, SEL Every Day, because we don't want to reduce this to a program. It's not, programs are helpful, and it's important to teach those explicit social emotional learning skills and competencies, but we absolutely need to reinforce it through our instruction. And learning is, again, capital IS, social and emotional.
I love that. I'd like to just add to that. We are all connected as human beings by the want and need to love and be loved. In that we are all the same, regardless of any real or perceived differences in age, in culture, in skin color, in gender, anything. We all are the same in the want and need to love and be loved. And when we don't feel loved, love is belonging and connection. Lack of love basically is the cause of so much of the suffering. And so teaching people how to choose love for themselves, for others, is really a key. And I agree with Mina, it's incorporated into everything that we do. It is more important, if you had to place importance, than academic learning, because when you have social and emotional intelligence, the academic learning comes.
Powerful. Daniel, and then after Daniel's comments, I want to do a quick round robin so you can tell us how to find you after the panel ends. Daniel, some last words?
Yeah, sure. Just the wrap up here has already been really wonderful and profound. And so to me, it just, I'd like to emphasize, I think, what I started with, which is coming home to ourselves. This inward journey that then allows for an expansion outward, full of things like love and presence and care and knowing the humanity and all those around us. And so I think, I want to emphasize that. These practices that to let us touch on our inner journey, our inner being. And that's really the beginning of an opening towards this external loving presence and sharing love with the world around us. And so I want to emphasize that. I'd like that to be my closing statement. Thank you.
Thank you all. We've just got 1 minute to wrap. Please tell us how to find you. Start with you, Scarlett.
Thank you so much, Dawn. So my website is chooselovemovement.org. And my personal email is Scarlett with 2 T's at jessieLewisChooseLove.org. Please email me, contact us. All of our programming is absolutely no cost. And this was imperative to me because this is so important. Every child deserves access, is really entitled to what we know leads and is a direct path to flourishing in their lives, these essential life skills. So I encourage everyone to go to chooselovemovement.org, check out everything that we have to offer, lifespan programming.
Thank you. Mina, how do we get in touch with you?
Sure. So you can go to my website, meenasrinivasan.com. I'm going to spell that for you. It's Meenna, S as in Sam, RINI, V as in Victor, ASAN.com. And there's a number of free resources there. And then those of you that are interested in deepening your practice and really having a transformational experience that will equip you with the leadership skills needed to actually implement social and emotional learning, whether you are a school leader, a teacher leader, or a leader at a SEL program provider or someone doing work in a community, please check out the organization I lead, Transformative Educational Leadership, and that website is TEleadership.org.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Daniel?
Thank you. So let's see. So if you want to email me, it's responsiveintelligence@gmail.com. You can also go to responsiveintelligence.com, as well as, let's see, mindfulnesscertification.com. And then there's one more, which I haven't brought up, but I will now. It's presentmomentlabs.com. A lot of the schoolwork is done through that name. And there's also mindfulness and SEL cards for schools that are really beautifully illustrated there. Nina was one of the contributing editors to them, and those are available at presentmomentlabs.com as well. So thank you so much, Dawn.
Beautiful. Thank you all. And I'm Dawn Edelman, Chief Education Officer at the SHIFT Network. We're very interested to learn about the work of luminaries in education and in conscious parenting. You can find me on LinkedIn or write me at dawn@theshiftnetwork.com. It has been an honor to serve as your host for the Education Impact Panel at the SHIFT Music Festival and Visionary Summit. Thank you.
All right, up next, we are going to go on a sound journey with Smrit. They have been creating waves with packed theaters and concert halls and chart-topping albums and raving fans, and they're all empowering, palatable music movement that transcends genres. And the experience is just so captivating and takes you through these ebbs and flows of vibration. And I think we're going to go there today, guys. I think it's going to be a really good one. And gosh, they're magical. They're magical. And I'm really looking forward to share Smirt with you.
Hi and welcome. This is Simrit, and I'm honored to be here today to be presenting a very intimate and beautiful concert with my dear bandmate, Salif Bamakora. And this is a great honor to be coming together and doing our part to help plant 1 million trees for the planet with the SHIFT Music Festival and Visionary Summit. Very honored to be a part of it. Thank you so much for having us. And let's all do our part. And if we can donate, you can go to shiftmusicfestival.com to donate anything. Any amount helps, doesn't matter how little or how much, is greatly appreciated. We all know that the world is in an environmental crisis right now. There's no denying that. We are in full swing in that, and we're seeing it and experiencing it with our own eyes and our own bodies. So let's come together and plant as many trees as possible. Thank you so much for having us again, and we hope you enjoy the concert.
with just a glance. You've taken away my lose in my identity. With just a glance, and you have said what can't be said by making me drink the wine of love and devotion. You have intoxicated me with just a glance. And I give my life to you. And I give my life to you. With just a glance. And with just a glance. And I give my life to you. And I give my life to you. In just a glance, in just a in just a just a glance. In a Nice to see y'all here through the screen. And wow, it's such a blessing to be able to play together live in person. And I want to thank Live From for hosting Salif and me here today for our first ever live stream. And I want to thank Madison House for helping to put this together, and all the Life Force Academy team as well Thank you so much. This is just such an honor to be able to play for you on such a beautiful indie platform like this. And we want to support these kind of platforms so that we can keep this music going. Everyone right now is benefiting so much from all the music and creativity that's been put into the world, especially during these times. It's really, really important. And so give thanks to Live From for helping musicians to do what they do and helping to spread the good medicine of music. It's just so nice to be here with all of y'all today and to play with Salif, because Salif and I have been playing together for 10 years. And we, I think we've both grown to be better musicians in that time, you know. And we play in a band called Simrit. It's the Simrit band, and it's 5 of us, and that's Devin, Ashley, Jared May, and Shannon Hayden are our other bandmates. So if you've heard some of our music, then you know that we have another sound that's really big. And the origins of this group really came from the collaboration of Salif and me about, like I said, about a decade ago. And so I feel that this duet here is the foundation of that, the big, you know, Simrit sound and Simrit group. So it's a real great fortune for us to be able to do this in this format again, after, you know, have grown so much in the past years. Yeah, so it's just a pleasure. And yeah, we hope y'all enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in from all different places around the world. It's such a pleasure to be here with y'all, and we can't wait to come see you and play live again. But for now, we have this beautiful live stream for you. This next one is a song called Kana. And it's about love and being open and the energy of the sun. And this language was adapted from the ancient Greek language that I was very fortunate to learn. And so, Kana, there you go. And this is the full album for those of you just tuning in or that didn't see much of the promo for the concert. We're playing the full album of When We Return for you today, and we also have a double vinyl of When We Return, and it's the first vinyl we've ever released. So feel free to enjoy that. There's a very limited number of those. So thank you.
Karina peri mata horipo Still we're thinking, always thinking. but a solution can't be found. Meditation, deep meditation, deep as we could ever go. In meditation forever, in meditation forever, quiet peace cannot be found. And the hungry will stay hungry as they watch their food become the wealth of another, become the wealth of another, and all our cleverest ideas, they will still return, return when we meet death. We return, return when we meet death. Where is the purity? 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 The purity? The purity? Where is the purity in the labyrinth of falsehood? Where is the purity? The purity in the labyrinth of falsehood.
Thank you. Thanks, y'all. How's everybody feeling? I hope y'all are having a good time. I'm having a wonderful time. I could speak for both of us, I think. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in today. What a special opportunity for us to be able to play these songs together for you. And yeah, it feels so nice. So thanks for joining in, and yeah, enjoy. Oh, I'm going to see if I can see this feed. So if y'all are commenting or anything like that, or if you're not, feel free to leave a comment. How do I get to this? Ah, yeah, there we go. Oh, nice. Hey, y'all. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I think I have to join. Yeah, got it. All right. Cool. Aki. Ah, oh yeah, so check this out. We should show you all this real quick. Ty Dave just brought it in. He's like, check, remember to do this. This is the first time we have offered a vinyl, y'all, and this is a very, very beautiful situation right here with two records. Two records. It's a double vinyl, and they're signed. They're all signed for you, and you know, double vinyl with a live track on the back of the second vinyl, and yeah, get one. How's it going so far? Oh, good. Well, give thanks to the team, Aki and Cayman, for such an awesome set. So fun to play here right now, and this set is so vibey. Yes. All right. That's great.
चतुर चाकुर वरते चत्रे चक्र पुगते स्वयं भाव सुपान सिरबदा सिरब जुगते दुकालं परनासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदायंग संगे अपंगं विभूते Do kalang pernasi
Thank you. So- How is everybody? How y'all doing? Hope y'all are enjoying the music and the vibe so far. I'm seeing some of your comments. It's so nice to see your comments. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, nice. Oh, this is so awesome. Okay, there's so many beautiful comments from y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and sending your love through the ethers.
Dönne baba nanigu 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 Dönne baba Dönne baba nanigu Duyniranka Dönne baba nanigu Baba Dönne baba nanigu Dönne baba nanigu La la Dönne baba nanigu La la Dönne baba nanigu Duyniranka
Thank you, Aki. That's Aki's over there by the controls, and he's clapping for us. So sweet. Thank you, Aki. How's everybody doing? It's so nice to be here with y'all. I hope everyone's really enjoying the vibes and the sounds. And yeah, don't forget, get your vinyl. It looks so beautiful, and it's a double vinyl. And this is the first vinyl we've ever released in all these years. So and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep releasing vinyl for different albums. But this is the first vinyl of When We Return, double vinyl. And yeah, it's really beautiful. I hope you enjoy it. And thanks again for being here with us today. It feels really good to be able to play for you and yeah, just be here together in this vibe with the music. Thank you. I'm going to see what some of y'all are saying. Oh, cool. Y'all are pumped for the vinyl. That's awesome. We're pumped too. Oh, so glad. Dawn said, this is so beautiful, just what I needed today. That's nice. Thank y'all so much. Wow, there's lots of amazing comments. Thank you so much, y'all. Wow, awesome. Beautiful. Hi to everybody. Isn't this space really nice? These two beautiful friends here set up this space for us, our videography team here, and give thanks, y'all. It looks amazing in here. Yeah, so cool. This one is called Onehu, and it means the more that I focus my mind on infinity, the more I become merged in infinity. So, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Thanks. I needed to hear that. Can you say that again a few more times? Thank you. I should let y'all know this is our last song for the evening, and it. Don't worry, it's not a short song, so you get plenty of music. Our songs tend to go really long. We actually just put out a string of singles, and we have a longer string of singles to come.
more singles every month, and it seems like it's going to get us into the springtime of next year or something. But you know, and we made them, and they're all a little, like, a lot of them are shorter in length, but most everything that we play together is long, very long, and we just, so you're gonna get plenty of music in this song. Lots of love to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we can't wait to send your vinyls out to you, and lots of love, kisses, hugs, love from us in California, and we hope to see all of y'all everywhere sooner than later out on tour. Let's see.
Na vela apne pritam se lagra hai une na vela apne pritam se lagra hai Prabhi sang meri je, imane
was really special. Up next, we have the Appalachians, and they play music from the mountains of western North Carolina, and they feature spirited songwriting, sublime harmonies, and a layered interplay between some really iconic folk instruments. And this band is actually the compilation of two couples. So it's love, I guess you would call it love squared in this 4-0 instead of a duo, 4-0. and they're really great music to listen to. It's nice and it's easy and it just feels good. So without further ado, here they are.
Hello there, I'm Angie from the band The Appalachians. Aditi, Jay, Cass, and I are all so glad to be playing as part of the Shift Music Festival and Visionary Summit. It's so important that we come together to help plant 1 million trees for this lovely earth. We're gonna do 2 songs for you that we recorded in our home studio, and one from a tour that we did in Northern California a few years ago, produced by Torrin James. And please do what you can to donate and enjoy the performance.
Sister, thing, the world needs a drink of the dew of a four-leaf clover. I hope that the light will reach all around. Let love take over. My faith is strong. I don't have a creed, but that we have all that we need. Brother, I think the world needs a drink of the dew of four-leaf clover. I hope that the light will reach all around. And then love take over.
What can we say to make it real? The things we know, the ways we feel, the strength we found, the hate we fear, the rising tide, the falling tears, the coming dawn. Maybe a song can make it real, a little true for all to feel, to build a bridge beyond our fears, that what divides may disappear, however long. Maybe a song still holds the key to work it out, or let it be. There is a bridge beyond verse 3 that we can cross in unity and sing along. Another song to sing as one on its refrain. Forget about which side you're on, forget the game. Time changes everything, but songs remain the same. Another song to sing as one on its refrain. Forget about which side you're on, forget the game. Time changes everything, but songs remain the same. Darkness fades, and in the wind, a shining star lights up the scene. Some act with grace, some just act mean, but what remains of this day's dream? Maybe a song. Songbird on the limb, singing late in the evening. Your song in the wind makes a high, lonesome reel. Earth and blue notes spin in your song for the leaving. Songbird on a limb, singing just how I feel. All night in the moonlight, like no one's home, way in the forest. You got the best back at the nest, wondering how to keep you around. Start over again, can't let it end while there's still moonshine. Bring in the morning with the tail end of the night song. Stars older than and sin fade out, and then mist or too soon shine. Lights up a blue sky, dark you'll fly and stumble home. Songbird on a limb, singing late in the evening. Your song in the wind makes a high, lonesome reel. Heard them blue notes bend in your song for the leaving. Songbird on a limb, singing just how I feel.
Just woke up, got a new lease. I was dreaming I was free. There's a bloom there in the seed. Call it light, call it dust, call it anything you must. Call it born of its own need. We are light, we are bound to remember we are found. Call it God, call it luck. I recall when I woke up, first a dream, soft as snow, then believe, then you know. Call it light, call it dust, call it anything you must. Rhythm in the wind, it brings me back to you, my friend. I feel you beside me. Rhythm in our song, it seems with us you still belong. Always here to guide me. Rhythm in my days, sometimes I feel I'm swept away. This drum roll that time in. Rhythm in the night and darkened dreams, I'll have the sight. Your eyes smile in kindness. I'll hold your melody that you showed to me, like a holy key to be with you. More than in my mind, more like in the times I'd sing beside you. Rhythm from your hands, the skin will sing at your command, dancing in the thunder. Rhythm in my heart would jump as soon as you would start, smiling at the wonder. Rhythm in my soul, throughout the ages it will roll, easy as your laughter. Rhythm of our lives, the stories that never arise, with each closing chapter. I'll hold your melody that you showed to me, like a holy key to be with you. More than in my mind, more like in the times I sing beside you. Rhythm in the wind, it brings me back to you, my friend. I feel you beside me. Rhythm in our song, it seems with us you still belong. always here to guide me.
Up next, we're going to go on a little bit of a sound journey with Joshua Miller. He is a world recording artist, music producer, and entrepreneur that's based out in Costa Rica. And he has this embodied sound, mindful music label that creates immersive sound experiences that support our collective well-being. So sit back, relax, find a comfortable space, and enjoy the meditation that is Joshua Miller.
Hey everyone, my name is Joshua Sam Miller. So grateful to be part of the Shift Music Festival this weekend, bringing thousands of people together from all over the world to plant 1 million trees. I am so behind this mission and this intention for musicians to inspire this type of environmental conservation. And today I'll be sharing with you a recording from a project that I'm producing called Sounds of the Ocean, where I pair recordings of whales and dolphins with live instruments to create a meditative sound journey. So I really hope you enjoy this concert. It was recorded live in Costa Rica, and you can find out all the information at soundsoftheocean.com. And of course, be sure to visit theshiftmusicfestival.com to donate to this incredible weekend. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the performance.
As we listen to these dolphins swimming, just remember a moment that you have when you're at the ocean, at the beach. A moment that brings joy and happiness and love. Slowly allowing your mind to come back from wherever it may have wandered. Coming back to the present moment. Just giving thanks for this practice and all of the majestic beauty of life contained in the ocean. May we do our part to keep it safe, keep it clean, and enjoy it.
All right, we're going to continue this healing vibe with Daniel Bell 1. And Daniel is a pretty spiritual guy. and a mantra singer that has transformed the lives of thousands across the world, sharing a unique experience called Awakening Through Music. And this has been done in over 30 countries from around the world. And his spiritual wisdom and insights about life and advanced knowledge of ancient yoga and soothing melodies and ancestral chants have helped people deeply reflect about their lives to discover their inner truth and evoke the spirit and awakening of the heart. Yes, this is happening right now. Like right now, this is happening. How cool. And how cool that we've all been here together during this entire weekend to experience moments like this and presenters and musicians and artists like this who are deeply connected and committed to the awakening of our collective heart so that we can contribute the awakened heart into the creation of the world that's yet to come. So, Daniel, welcome to the space.
Namaste. My name is Daniel Valone, and I'm here to show my support for our planet and help plant 1 million trees with the Shift Musical Festival and Visionary Summit. I hope you enjoy the program and donate whatever you can to help our beautiful planet heal and restore its natural balance. Thank you.
Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam, Ganesha Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Sharanam. Ganesha Sharanam, Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha 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 Ganesha Sharanam Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namaha Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namaha Holy One, Holy One, Holy One, Holy One. Holy One, Shiva Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Shiva Shiva Shambho Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Mahadev Hara 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 Mahadev Shiva Shiva Shambho Hara 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 Mahadev Shiva Shiva Shambho Hara 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 Mahadev Shiva Shiva Shambho Hara 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 Mahadev Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Shiva Shiva Shambho Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Shiva Shiva Shambho Shiva 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 Shambho Hara Hara Mahadev Shiva 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 Shambho Hara Hara Mahadev Shiva 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 Shambho Hara Hara Mahadev Shiva 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 Shambho Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Shiva Shiva Shambho Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Shiva Shiva Shambho Shiva 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 Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Shiva 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 Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Shiva 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 Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Shiva 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 Shambho Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Shiva Shiva Shambho Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Om Namah Shivaya Hara Hara Mahadev Shiva 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 Shambho Hara Hara Mahadev Shiva Shiva Shiva
So I think we all know how important the healing of our collective hearts is for the future that we are wanting to create together. And the Yuval Ron Ensemble not only is creating a space for that type of healing, but they have an endeavor to alleviate national, racial, religious, and cultural divides that healing can then create at a deeper level in the world. And they're doing this by uniting the music and dance of the people of the Middle East into a unique, mystical, and spiritual, inspiring music celebration. And it includes everyone in the areas. It includes the Jewish, the Christian, and the Muslim artists who have all been actively involved in creating musical bridges between the people of these various faiths. So, while we listen to this amazing ensemble, let's take a moment and one, appreciate the work that's already been done by this group of people, and two, think of maybe some areas where we could start building some bridges of our own in our communities, in our homes, in ourself, in our relationships. Because that's where it all starts, right? And here they are, the Yuval Ron Ensemble.
Greeting of peace, everybody. My name is Yuval Ron. I'm here to invite you to watch all this beautiful music as part of the festival of Shift Music Festival and Visionary Summit. And we are doing all this for you to be enriched, to be inspired, to add more joy and happiness into your life. And we're asking you to please help us to plant 1 million trees around the world in order to help planet Earth, in order to save planet Earth. And this is our Mother Earth, out of which we came out. So give a hand. Please go to the website www.shiftmusicfestival.com and donate and help us plant 1 million trees. Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our next musical guest, Joanne Shenandoah. She is a PhD and is one of Native America's most celebrated musicians. She carries beauty in her soul and her voice, as well as through her interactions with diverse communities, and holds a strength and a passion for the people that have found likes in the iconic philosophers and wisdom keepers that are in her space. And she has 24 albums and has garnered her Grammy, as well as 40 other music awards. And she's an ambassador of peace and an advocate for human rights and earth rights as well. And she's just captured the hearts of audiences worldwide. And it's such a joy to bring up Joanne to the space.
Go Scan and Go. My name is Joanne Shenandoah. I'm Iroquois, Haudenosaunee, Oneida from the Wolf Clan in upstate New York, Iroquois Confederacy. I hope that you will join me in celebrating the idea of planting over 1 million trees on our Mother, the Earth. She continues to sustain us, although we continue to take. So my prayer and blessing is that you will join us together as one, because our trees give us shelter and warmth, and they give us fruits and nuts, and they are just absolutely beautiful. They give us shade. They help build homes. What would we do without our trees? They're just absolutely beautiful, and the songs that they sing with the wind are just amazing. So I'd love for you to join us on the Shift Network, and I'm going to sing a song I wrote called Mother Earth Speaks, and I hope it speaks to your heart. I shake, I shout, from time to time, no attention is paid to mine. I fear for you, not just for me, my heart beats on. Why can't you see? Don't steal my thunder, don't break my heart. I'm your mother. Hear my beating heart. Hear my beating heart. Rape the land. Rape your mother. Take the poison from all my water. Cut the trees down to my soul, strip my body of all its oil. Don't steal my thunder, don't break my heart. I'm your mother. Hear my beating heart, hear my beating heart. Don't steal my thunder, don't break my heart. I'm your mother. Hear my beating heart, hear my beating heart.
What if music grew trees? What if a song could grow a forest? What if it became normal for trees to be embedded within every track, every album, every concert ticket, every gathering and festival? What if the music industry were the ones to make it a new normal? And Tree Sisters were the ones to help you. How fast could music help restore our global forest and inspire social change? This is an invitation to embed restoration into every life, every home, business, community, you name it. If you're warming our planet or taking from her, which we all are, then it's time to start giving back in ways that cool her down and restore her. We can do this and feel really good about it. Thank you for your generosity. It really makes a difference.